Welcome to Spotlight. I'm your host, Amitha. Join us weekly to get inspired by guests from different walks of life. Mahatma Gandhi once said, Assamese women weave dreams on their looms. Tara Bhuyan Couture is nurturing the pride and beauty of Assam and bringing out the surreal beauty and grandeur of the Northeast through their breathtaking creations. It's with pleasure I welcome to our show the founder of this unique hand-woven brand and India's leading designer, Miss Tara Bhuyan. Welcome to our show.
Namaskar.
Namaskar. It's so great to have you here. Aapka kaam itna kuch, it's bringing in so much applause, and the work you're doing is also shedding light on Assam, which is really not open to the world. So we are so grateful and honored to have you. But before we get into your work, tell us a little bit more about your background, where you grew up, your education.
I'm really honored to be a part of this panel and part of this discussion. Yes, my childhood was I was brought up in Assam, born and brought up in Assam, and that is on in the northeast part of India, around the foothills of the Himalayas. And this beautiful place has offered the rich silks and the tea gardens. The tea from Assam and our silk from Assam is very popular around the world. And I'm very, very grateful that I grew up in a family, especially it starts from my grandmom, who was actually personally uh, requested by Mahatma Gandhi himself to start weaves and for women empowerment around the agitation times. So I'm glad that she started that. And I think that trickled down to my mom and my aunts, who has, my aunt herself has a very big unit in Guwahati city of Assam, where we weave and empower the widows and the abused women of Assam. So, and then it came to my generation, and I'm glad that I took it over from there to make it something that make it more popular around the world, our rich silk. So, as I said, I grew up in a very a stylish family, I would say, in simple words. I saw my parents and my grandmoms, my aunts, always well dressed. So, and I was groomed with that background. And I did my schooling in Guwahati, then I did my college and my university in University of Mumbai. And there further on, I did further studies in Canada. So I was my first job. I actually graduated as a finance person. I always had mathematical economics.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I have been an investment banker going forward with Royal Bank of Canada. So I would like to say, touch base, that I was a model when I was 17 years old, a ramp model, and I was working for a few works with Ritu Berry, the famous international designer.
Nice.
So at that time, of course, coming from an academic background and a creative background, I was forced into go into finance. So I pursued my career in finance. But in 2014, I was requested to do a fashion show. People wanted to see what I create. People like what I wear. So they told me, why don't you, it started from a Bihu, small Bihu program, the Assamese Bihu, the Baisakhi that we have, the Bihu. So it started from there, and it was a small group of people in Canada, in Toronto itself, from Assam Sangha Canada. And it was a big hit. It was that fashion show was taken forward to a convention, Assam Convention of North America, which was a bigger crowd, and people started liking my clothes, and they said, like, somehow I didn't want to be on the limelight, but you know how it goes is some models put it on YouTube, so it's destiny that it pulls you. So it fell on someone's hands, and she was the coordinator, Lisa Verma, from India, who is my mentor, who is my everything. It fell in her hands, and she wanted to contact me And we did our debut show in Sydney, Australia. Uh, I didn't know it will be so much of a hit with my clothes, with my richness of myself was pronounced. And I didn't have to do anything much on these fabrics, that the rich fabrics and weaves that I have. So yeah, so yes, 20-25 years into banking, and
Wow.
then into parallelly into fashion, and now a full-time fashion designer. I'm very pleased that I have chosen this line, even if by destiny, it was always within me. The passion was always there to help the weavers back home in the rural village where I have a cluster of weavers. And I have my factory in Delhi, in Shapurjat, and I have a small workforce here as well in Canada. So we are doing
Amazing.
we are globally spread, yes.
Amazing. I mean, you have so much experience, and you have the best of both worlds. It's great. We heard that you grew up in an environment that encouraged your passion, but it's great how you balanced, being the banker and the fashion designer, and ultimately have ended up with your full-time passion as a fashion designer. And it's great how you have been associated with well-known figures in the fashion industry. So this is quite empowering also, to the fact, like you said, you give the hand weavers in Assam this opportunity to empower themselves with a skill that they know of, and you're bringing it to the rest of the world. So hats off to you, Tara, just being such an inspirational figure and a role model. So now we have to talk about your own brand, which is the Tara Bhuyan Couture. But before we get to that, it's time for a short break. Welcome back to Spotlight. We are talking to India's leading designer, Miss Tara Bhuyan. So now we have heard about your journey, Tara, how you are a fashion designer now, where it first started. But tell us how you decided to go into your own line with the Tara Bhuyan Couture.
Great question. Yes, as I said earlier in my previous, I I didn't want to make a brand out of anything. I just followed my passion, which was within me, which is burning within me for many, many years. Although I was a very successful banker, but this was something that I really needed to do for me, for the world. And how the brand got created, even I don't know. It just happened to just go with the flow. I think I didn't concentrate on us as Tara Bhuyan Couture. I just focused on my work all throughout. I focused on the weaves, the international finish kind of weaves, because these are all handloom weaves. You have to remember, Amita. These are hand woven without electricity. So we are a 100% sustainable company for that matter. And I was focusing on getting the best finish out of each woman who works for me, men or women, doesn't really matter. Mostly women is in this business, but I would, be keeping gender equality alive, I always encourage men also to be a part of that weaving. So I focused on the weaves, as I said, and I focus on the finishings and the designs that I do with my Delhi team, who is my backbone and my support, and the team here in Canada. We all work together. So, going to say, I didn't know when this Tara Bhuyan Couture brand was created. It just happened. I just was focusing too much on my work, probably, and it just people started, word of mouth, and people started inviting me to different shows in Nepal, and with big celebrity designers and big celebrity producers. So I'm just going as the world takes me. Yes, Tara Bhuyan Couture is a big part of Assam and the Assamese weavers, and I do represent all the people of Assam, Assamese weavers. Yes.
Amazing. I mean, yes, like you mentioned previously, too, everything just fell into place at the right time. but there was a lot of hard work and persistence that went behind it. So it's a well deserved position that you're in right now, where people love your collection. And there's you have already told us why it's sustainable, because no electricity, all hand woven. And what I understand is, I mean, Assam has three gems, as far as I can understand from your work, but you have kind of modernized that. Can you tell us a little bit more?
Sure. Yes, the tree gems, especially the muga, which is the golden silk, that is the rarest of the silks in the world and one of the most expensive silks that we have as a treasure. And the other one, the second one, is the airy. Airy is the ahimsa silk. It's a non-violent silk in English. Why it's called a non-violence is when you take out the thread from the worm, the worm is not killed, never killed. Yes, that only grows in the tropical parts of Assam and not all over Assam. Only a few. That's why it's another rare silk. We do have a lot of blends nowadays to make it more comfortable for people to wear. But the pure airy yarns, when they take it out from the worm is never killed. That's why it's called ahimsa, non-violence, and it's very peaceful. That silk itself is very comfortable. It's figure hugging. It's beautiful. It's used in many of the big companies in the world, like Gucci, Armani's, you name it. Yes, that particular silk is very, very well placed with dresses, especially the Western dresses. Yes. And the third silk is our Ahompat, which is called Assampat. That is kind of a mulberry silk. And that is our, that's normally most of our clothings are done on mulberry silk blends. And how I make it Western is I use a lot of my colors are on European shades, and I try to blend in these beautiful sheer Assam silks, which I create some blends called it can be different names, with silk and cotton, silk and chiffon mix. I keep on mixing these in the weaves so that you get a good variety, and I give a nice silhouette to it to make it portray the best as possible. Yes, those are for the Western dresses and even for the Indian bridal wears. Why my Indian bridal wears are worn around the world. Right now, I'm doing 15 weddings currently.
Wow.
Yes, for the month of August, because the North America has opened up in a big way, and it's like currently we are very busy, and I'm glad that people, not only Assamese people, but people around the world, is appreciating this silk and my design so much that I'm really proud to have that. And the only thing that I hear from either it's Indian or it's American, the only thing I hear is that they have never seen such a material before in their life. Tara, you never do justice in your pictures. You should get better pictures done. But I do justice, but the real silk never comes. It's the kind satisfaction when they receive whatever I send it. Our team sends to them. The brides and the wedding guests are very, very happy about the attires that they get in front of them, and they look beautiful.
So now our viewers know. I mean, go on to your social media handles, and you will see amazing work, but you will not realize the actual potential of your work until you actually feel it and see it in person. So tell our viewers where they can find your collection if they want to become your client.
Yes, absolutely. I would love clients. I always love clients. And I want to officially announce our e-commerce website. I think I got a very good platform to launch. www.tarabhuyan.com. That is like T as in Tom, ARABHUYAN as my name goes. .com is my e-commerce website. A lot of the collections are there. You can see my social Instagram handle at Tara Bhuyan Couture. And my official Facebook page is Tara Bhuyan Couture again. So yes, absolutely.
Amazing.
Please see my collection. Get me on WhatsApp. I love to groom people. That's my passion as well. I love my clients to look beautiful, no matter if it's a bride or a guest or just you, Amita.
Well, I must say, your presence itself is very evident in that. Like, you have been a model, and it's quite obvious why, how you presented yourself so well today as well. And Tara Bhuyan, it has such a mellifluous, feel to it. So we can only imagine how you would treat your clients like a princess. So I would suggest clients to check out your work. Now we have a very exciting news which has just come to be recently. I understand that you're going to be associated with the royal family. Tell us a little bit more.
Yes, Amita, and thank you. I mean, your words are just weaving into very, it's very soothing words that you're using for me. You're very being very generous about me, but thank you, Amita. Beautiful words used. Yes, just recently that has happened is we are having a with the Royal Fables. It's called the Royal Fables, and from India. And the founder member for this Royal Fables, which has been there for many years now, many years, is Princess Diya Kumari, the most popular Princess Diya Kumari from Jaipur. She's the founder member, and I'm the cause protagonist and the craft protagonist for Royal Fables. And I'm also not only associated with Princess Diya Kumari and with all other royal families of Baroda, of everywhere you name it. It's a big cause that we are going to probably announce it very soon. Something very interesting coming up, and a lot of collections from the legacies of royal families will be promoted in this campaign. I don't want to destroy the whole suspense out here, but it's going to be something that Princess Diya Kumari has um, really taken care of, especially during COVID times, to all the women in Rajasthan. Uh, she has always been doing that, especially in the times of COVID. She has really, and that also, I don't know why they have selected me. I'm proud and honored to be a part of that legacy. I mean, who doesn't want to be? But yes, it also reminds me that, Mita, I forgot to touch base that during COVID, when you said sustainability, during COVID, when everything else was closed, in fact, my Delhi factory was closed for 3 months last year and a month and a half this year because of the devastation that we had back in India, and we are covering up now very soon. But in those closed months, of course, we went through of tough times. All businesses have gone through tough times, but the only thing I did was to protect my workers in Delhi. I didn't want them to go back to UP or wherever they have come from, Bihar. I I told them that I will pay full salary to all of my team, whether they come for one day, whether they don't come for 3 months. I will protect them. But that is the reason I think I got the first order in July. And I was very worried to open up my factory because I was the first one to open in Delhi with permissions, of course, because there was a huge wedding. I cannot disclose the wedding. There was a huge wedding in the month of August, and they only wanted Tara Bhuyan Couture for that huge wedding in Rajasthan. It was a big one there. So, but then we counted weddings upon weddings, even in India and across the world. And during those COVID times, Amita, I would say that my weavers never sat just doing nothing, because as I mentioned, they work without electricity, they work from home. That's what we are doing. They always work from home, and especially the women doesn't have to walk around anywhere in the curfew. It was curfew all around in India, right, at that time in April, May, and June. But they all work from home, and I started my production full strength with the help of
Amazing.
weavers. They were a solid team of weavers. And yes, we were very successful as a company, even if through very constrained times.
Amazing. I mean, there's no stopping you given your passion, your discipline. Your humility has taken you a long way. I mean, your creativity, your talent, and your leadership as a great, I would say, employer, with compassion for your workers, not, working as a team. So there's a lot of great qualities that makes you a great leader, Tara. And that's why you are inspiring us today as an empowering woman community leader. So we have learned a lot about your past, a lot about the present with your brand, a little bit about the future. We are privileged to have that glimpse into your association with the royal family. But there's still more to talk about the Tara behind Tara Bhuyan Couture. But before that, it's time for a short break. Welcome back to Spotlight. We are inspired today by Miss Tara Bhuyan of Tara Bhuyan Couture. So this is great. Thank you so much for inspiring us today, Tara. I was wondering what your long-term vision is as a fashion designer or as an empowering leader.
As a fashion designer, I would keep doing what I'm doing and improvise on my work. I have a lot to learn. Since I'm not a fashion designer. If you remember, I only did my mathematical economics, my graduates and undergraduates in mathematical economics. But I would definitely take a course for sure. Yes, in the Toronto Film School or somewhere, just a crash course because they always wanted me back there. Um, I will I will be promoting my silk everywhere in the world and also provide the best quality clothes. Just not my silk, all around. We are working on a collection all around India and the world. So currently my collection, which will come through in the month of September before Navratri, will be very interesting, which will have all kinds of collections, all kinds of silks and all kinds of fabrics that we can come up with. We are coming with some bohemian styles, uh, saris that's very interesting and very, very festive. Hopefully, the world open up more in October. The whole world, we all want the whole world to open up, like we are doing it right now here. But yes, those are things that I'm looking for my new collection. And of course, as a vision, I want not only Tara Bhuyan Couture as a company to grow, but whole team of mine to grow. I want to hire more workers in the future, give more employments in the weaving section, give more popularity to those weavers who needs them. They are the backbone of this whole entire Tara Bhuyan Couture. So without them, me or the team is absolutely nothing. So yes, I will keep promoting them globally, and I will keep producing more better blended products and more better quality products. There's lots to learn, lots to do, and very short time. 24 hours is
Amazing.
very less for me actually. I put in about 16 to 18 hours a day.
Wow.
I'm trying to get that reduced because I have a family to look after. I have two daughters. One is going into university this year, and the other one is going to grade seven, a DTN lawyer, and my husband who supports me all throughout. So yes, I have a family to look after, but yet they are supporting me to give those many hours. Otherwise, I would not have been here.
Very well said. You're so grounded, very well rounded. So, I mean, you exude what we call about mind, body, soul wellness, whether it's taking care of yourself, your family, your workers, working as a team, putting Assam on the globe. I mean, so that people can understand the beauty and the grandeur of Assam. So it's been a pleasure talking to you, Tara, and learning more about your collection, learning more about what your principles are, and what your vision is long term. Do you have any words of advice for our viewers who are watching and aspire to be like you someday, an entrepreneur, somebody who goes after their passions?
Yes, that's very interesting and tricky. I'm not in a position to give advice, but for sure, Amita, since you've asked me to become an entrepreneur, coming from a cushy job where you have worked for more than 20 years itself is a big step for me. And I took that step. There is always risk involved as an entrepreneur. Any kind of business has risk. And for me, I have my philosophy on risk, where I have always worked as an investment banker. My philosophy, if the biggest risk is not taking risk in life, I think that's the biggest risk. So yes, take the calculated risk. Uh, go ahead with your passion. I mean, you have to find your own passion. If you once you find your own passion, I think you can do anything in this world. It doesn't feel like a job anymore. It doesn't feel like a chore anymore. My daughter says, "You, mommy, I see you working all the time. You're doing the phone, laptop. You know, I don't even feel." I said, like, did I really work today? Even if I put in 16 hours, did I really work today? Where did I work? When is the serious work coming up? It's like that. So it has to be some passion, and some calculated risk goes a long way to become a successful entrepreneur. I have a long way to become successful, Amita, but success is just a word. It can keep growing as you grow, right? So
Very
yes,
well said.
success is all about how much you have done for this world and how much you've done for
Very well.
yourself. Yeah.
Very well said. And I'm going to steal that from you. The biggest risk is not taking any risk at all. That's very well said. Well, Tara, it's been a pleasure, talking to you today. We will follow your collection, get to know you more through your collection, and we wish you all the best with all the upcoming projects.
Thank you so much, Amita, and thank you, ZTV. Namaskar to all the clients and viewers and everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. So that was Miss Tara Bhuyan, who has inspired us today with a success story after going after her own passions. Well, that's a wrap for this week's show. Thank you for watching us. Continue to follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and write to us at spotlight@ethnicchannels.com. Until next week, this is Amita signing off, encouraging you to go after your dreams of silk.